You are not allowed to impose, through the government, your religious beliefs on others. That is not what religious freedom is about. That's not what our country rests on.
Yeah.
And as a democracy, we respect other democracies' abilities to self-police and self-regulate. And so this process is underway. Our voices have been heard. Your voice is going to be heard. Obviously, there's international attention focused on this national citizenship registration.
Oh, you're going to love this one. Today, we've got a double feature. Ilhan Omar stepped into not one, but two separate hearings, trying to control the narrative. One focused on religion in America, the other on U.S. foreign policy with India. In both moments, she used loaded questions to push a very specific viewpoint. But here's the twist: both witnesses stayed calm, composed, and grounded in facts, and completely flipped the script. Today, we're breaking down how Ilhan Omar got fact-checked in real time. Let's get into it.
Under our Constitution, we are prohibited from establishing religion, yes?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's what the establishment
So if you have members of Congress that are legislating laws in accordance with their faith in regards to abortion or LGBTQ or women or any of those things, that should be prohibited within our Constitution.
You are not allowed to impose, through the government, your religious beliefs on others. That is not what religious freedom is about. That's not what our country rests on.
Yeah. For many of us, religious freedom is extremely important. It is life and death in this country. Yes. Many of us fled our countries to come to the United States because that is the one thing that distinguishes us from many countries. But it's also important that we have a secular government and protect people's civil rights and access to those civil rights. And so I appreciate your testimony.
Now watch closely how Ilhan Omar frames her question. She's not simply asking about the Constitution. She's trying to challenge the legitimacy of lawmakers who are guided by personal faith. She essentially argues, if your faith influences your decisions, should you even be allowed to legislate? That's a dangerous line of thinking. What she's really trying to do is blur the line between voting your conscience and imposing a state religion. But Miss Laser didn't fall for it. She calmly clarified, you are not allowed to use government power to impose your religious beliefs on others. That's the line, and it matters. Here's the key point. In America, people of faith are not excluded from public life. If your beliefs shape your values, whether it's on life, family, or tradition, you still have every right to vote accordingly. That's not establishing religion. That's participating in democracy. But Ilhan Omar seems to suggest that a secular government should be completely free of religious influence, even from the people themselves. That's not neutrality. That's exclusion. And the witness made that distinction very clear.
Ambassador Wells, as you know, last month I led a letter to Ambassador Juster and Jones with you CC'd on it on the situation of Kashmir. Our partnership with India is strategic, but it's also based on our shared values of democracy, religious pluralism, and the respect of human rights. Under Modi and the BJP government, all of these mutual values have been threatened. And I think we have to understand the situation in Kashmir as part of an overall Hindu nationalism project of the BJP. So my first question to you is about the right of self-determination. Is the United States committed to emphasizing the centrality of Kashmir voices in determining the future of the Jammu and Kashmiri people?
I would disagree with the characterization that we don't have a values-based relationship with the government of Prime Minister Modi. And I would just underscore that Prime Minister Modi came in a consecutive term. He achieved a majority vote in a very diverse
we can agree to disagree on that. I just would like to understand if we are going to centralize the voices of the Kashmiri and.
But just to provide context, I mean, the actions he took were approved in Parliament, including by members of the opposition. The Supreme Court is reviewing that decision. The High Court is reviewing habeas corpus petitions. The institutions of India's democracy are working. We absolutely believe that Kashmiri's voice needs to be heard, that in any restoration, when there is restoration of an assembly, when there are state assembly elections, that's the way for Kashmiris to be able to register their views, also in peaceful assembly. And so I think the concern over the restrictions on movement and what we've seen over the last 78 days is that ability to protest peacefully has been difficult for Kashmiris to exercise.
Yeah. I mean, and the part of the reason I asked and the part of the reason I emphasize the context of the larger PGP project is because I think in both cases, the impunity we have seen for crimes against Muslims under the PJP was warming for such worse things to come. In Assam, almost 2 million people are being asked to affirmably approve their citizenship. As my colleague and the chairman said, there have been official statements to the effect that no Buddhist, Christian, Sikh, or Jain refugees need to worry about their status. And so this is a clear anti-Muslim program. And I'm sure you've seen the same reports that the Indian government is starting to build camps in Assam, presumably to hold those who are unable to prove their citizenship. This is how the Rohingya genocide started. At what point do we no longer share values with India? Are we waiting for the Muslims in Assam to be put in those camps?
The certification of citizenship in Assam dates to a 2013 Supreme Court ruling that ordered the government to do so, to address questions of illegal immigration. The process, which continues to unfold and continues to be challenged in the court, it now has 1.9 million people who have not been certified. And that includes both Muslims and Hindus. There are 300 appeal panels that are being set up for those individuals to appeal this determination. And as my colleague stated, we're concerned that many of these individuals who may not have the wealth or the education to successfully be able to document their citizenship are vulnerable. We will continue to watch this very closely, but I would stress that the appeal process is still open. The judicial process is still working in India. And as a democracy, we respect other democracies' abilities to self-police and self-regulate. And so this process is underway. Our voices have been heard. Your voice is going to be heard. Obviously, there's international attention focused on this national citizenship registration.
All right, let's pause for a second because that was a masterclass in diplomacy versus ideology. First, narrative versus reality. Did you hear how Ilhan Omar framed the situation? She suggested that the world's largest democracy is on the brink of something as extreme as genocide. That's a serious accusation, especially when directed at a key ally. Second, the NRC fact check. This is where things got interesting. Ilhan Omar compared India's National Register of Citizens in Assam to the Rohingya crisis. That's a heavy comparison. But Alice Wells came prepared. She added the context that was missing. The process was ordered by the Supreme Court of India. This wasn't political, it was judicial. It was part of addressing illegal immigration, something every sovereign nation has the right to manage. And then came the key detail. Around 9 million people were excluded, but it wasn't based on religion. It included both Hindus and Muslims. That one fact challenges the entire narrative of religious targeting. Third, the sovereignty point. Alice Wells closed with a powerful reminder. Democracies must be allowed to manage their own internal processes. India has its courts. It has its constitution. It has its political system. Treating an ally with respect means trusting those systems, not lecturing from the outside. And that's what made her response stand out. Calm, factual, and grounded in diplomacy. 2 hearings. 2 witnesses. and 2 reality checks for Ilhan Omar. So now I want to hear from you. Does faith belong in politics? And was Alice Wells right to defend India's sovereignty? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.